Welcome to HumanityWins.net. Please read the important disclaimer on your screen. All of the content provided is for entertainment purposes only. It should not be taken as medical or legal advice. Please contact your doctor or lawyer if you require such advice. Thank you. The show starts right now. Hello, welcome to a new episode of HumanityWins.net. This is episode 223 from July the 7th of the year 2023. Today's a Friday. Today's episode is about the very interesting story of the Tunguska event out there in Russia, northern eastern Russia, the area most commonly known as Siberia. This event happened in 1908. It's very well known. There are many theories about it, and I'm going to share them with you. I'm going to share my feelings, my opinions. Again, for the new subscribers, this is a feeling opinion show. I don't share facts here. I'm open to being wrong on everything I say. You decide if this is interesting for you, if what I say resonates with you. You decide if I'm saying something that is valid or not. I'm not claiming to be right at all. Before we dwell into the several theories about the school of thoughts about the Tunguska event, I want to do a little channel update. As I've been sharing all this week, I'm leaving tomorrow on a holiday with my family for a week. So if everything is okay, I should be back home on July the 15th. That's a Saturday. I'm back with an episode on July the 17th. On this occasion, I decided not to publish anything next week. Yes, I could have done some pre-made episodes. Yes, that's possible. But I just felt I really didn't want to, even if the effort to publish is very minimal, actually I can do it through my cell phone. I felt that I was gonna be monitoring the episodes for comments and that's something I really don't want to do on my holiday. Okay, that's in a nutshell. So I should be back on Monday. Nothing happened. If you don't see any episodes this week, nothing wrong is happening. That's by design. And I should be back on July the 17th with a Monday episode. All right, the Tunguska event, very interesting story. There are several school of thoughts about this one. Before we watch a video explaining the story, let me share them with you. The first one, which I already touched on, is on the episode of Nikola Tesla. That episode is more than a year ago. I don't remember the exact number, but it should be around the 20 to 30 episode number, so you will have to go back a little bit on the channel to find it. If you have been with me for a while, you probably already saw it. The episode that I share my opinion on Nikola Tesla and how there's this school of thought. It's a conspiracy theory. It's not accepted by mainstream that the Tunguska event was the result of the testing by Nikola Tesla of a weapon he was commissioned to do called the Death Ray. Okay, but after watching the destruction this alleged weapon created, he destroyed it and destroyed all the schematics and all the information on the Death Ray because he didn't want anyone to have their hands on, because it could probably destroy humanity. If he created the Tunguska event, it could certainly be used to basically destroy the world. Okay, so that's a school of thought. That's interesting. I believe it's possible. Tesla was most probably the brightest human being to ever exist. So I don't put it past him. He could have designed something like that, getting energy from the ether and pushing it in a destroying manner. Tesla sounds to me like a very good human being. I see a lot of humanity there. So unless he was really pressured or threatened or something in a way he couldn't handle it, I don't see him doing this. Okay, so that's my main issue with this theory. The other theories are natural events, and they're all related to cosmic events. And the first one is just a plain old meteorite or asteroid that hit the ground and created this thermonuclear explosion, which created the devastation of the Tunguska event. The problem with that is there is no crater in the area. Okay, there is no crater the size that an asteroid or meteor will demand to create this destruction, which was huge. We're going to see it in the video in a few minutes. They talk about numbers of the square kilometers this affected is huge. It's a huge area, so it will have to be a very big meteor or asteroid, which will leave a huge crater, and they cannot find it. Okay, they just don't seem to find it. The proponents of that idea claim that the crater is somewhere that we just haven't found in a body of water or something, and we're going to find it eventually. So because this area, I need to clarify, in 1908. This was before the Russian Revolution, okay? So apparently the school of thought is the government of Russia at that time, the aristocrats, they had no intention to investigate this event. They were actually worried that their country was crumbling into a revolution, which happened later in 1917, 9 years after. So, but it was already boiling by then. So they had no interest in that event. So apparently the area was looked at 2-3 years afterwards. And it was a very, very sporadic, very superficial investigation. The better investigations, the more profound investigations came years later, tens of years later. So the proponents say maybe in that time the crater was covered with water or with debris or with nature or something. I find that very difficult to believe, but okay, that's what they say. The other, another explanation, another school of thought is it was a comet. The problem with that explanation that I have is comets are huge, okay? And yes, they're made of ice, and the proponents of this theory claim that this comet came into the atmosphere, the ice melted away, but it created this energy for this explosion, and that's why there are no evidence of the comet because the ice melted, okay? The problem, I don't recall in mainstream history that they have ever admitted that a comet has hit Earth. Comets are huge, that's the thing. Yes, they're made of ice, but they're huge, huge bodies, okay? So if a comet was to hit Earth, I think it's the end. I think it's what we consider an ELE, extinction level event, but not just for humans. I think for the whole Earth. I think the energy will be so profound that it will destroy Earth. So it hasn't happened so far. I find that extremely unlikely. They say maybe it was a small comet. Well, there are no such thing as small comets. That's the thing. They're all huge because they keep traveling to the universe and gathering more ice and more ice in their tails. They're huge. Even if they look very little out there in the skies when we watch them, when there's a comet passing, where you're looking at a huge, enormous thing, okay? So that's the issue I have with that theory. And the final one, this one is kind of funny, to be honest, because I don't find this one doesn't hold any water for me. Now, the other one says, yes, it was a meteor or an asteroid, but it changed trajectory before hitting the ground, like if it was a spaceship or something like that, and it had boosters and rockets in there to change trajectory. Sorry, I laugh because they make this explanation. Alleged scientists, this is science. This is the scientific method. Okay, they just make things up. They assume and they give you an explanation. They say, yes, we investigated on this science and this is possible. How is this possible? Okay, the sheer mass, okay, of this asteroid or meteor going in a downward trajectory to change trajectory upwards and beat the gravity of Earth. How? Just explain me how. Does it have any type of element there that, like an airplane that can change trajectory because it has engines and it has a tail and it has wings? No, just by magic. Okay, so that one for me is just even silly and funny that they claim. What happened is this meteor was coming, this asteroid, again, meteor, asteroid, just definition of size, okay? So this was coming, and then the sheer friction, it was created the energy for the explosion of the Tunguska event. But then, before hitting the ground, it changed trajectory, it bounced back from the Earth and went back to space, and we didn't see it. And because there was no cameras at the time, no video camera, no one can question this theory, but saying it's possible. No, not really. I mean, it's physics. It's not possible. It will have hit the ground, okay? Unless something changed its trajectory, a force. What force? It was some kind of voodoo force, magic force. What force? Explain it. But scientists are like that. They just give you stuff, and if it sticks, then, oh, wow, they claim that. But they're scientists. They're smarter than us, so we should take it. I already shared my piece that no, we shouldn't take it. And they make a lot of assumptions, and we're equally capable, equally wise. So what your intuition is telling you sometimes is actually smarter than what a scientist is telling you through investigation and knowledge, okay? So without further ado, let's watch the short explanation on the Tunguska event, and I'm gonna give you my final thoughts on the short Friday episode about the Tunguska event.
Future videos. In 1908, the most powerful explosion ever recorded struck Siberia, and scientists remain baffled. June 30th, 1908 started like any other day in Vanavara, Siberia. But then the earth shook, quite literally, in an explosion of unrivaled force. Indeed, the area had just been witness to one of the biggest scientific mysteries of our time, and it's one that continues to baffle the brightest minds even today. This incredible incident became known as the Tunguska event, so called because of the nearby stony Tunguska River. But what exactly was it? A meteor? A bomb? The only thing we really know is that this was the most powerful explosion of its type in recorded history. In fact, it's estimated that the blast had a force of 30 megatons of TNT. For the layman, that's equivalent to 1,000 atomic bombs the size of the one dropped in Hiroshima, Japan, at the end of World War II. In this instance, though, it's thought that a huge fireball traveled through the sky on shockwaves measuring 5.0 on the Richter scale. Furthermore, the downward force of the blast, which leveled some 80 million trees, spread over an area of 830 miles. Needless to say, for the few who called this desolate part of Siberia home, the Tunguska event must have been the stuff of nightmares. and indeed what few eyewitness accounts there are make for terrifying reading. For instance, one observer said that the sky was split in two, and that high above the forest, the whole northern part of the sky appeared covered in fire. A local deer herder, meanwhile, reportedly perished after the blast propelled him into a tree. Interestingly, the Tunguska event's shockwaves were felt as far away as the UK. Nevertheless, the Tsarist regime at the time had no real desire to investigate what had happened. In all fairness, though, it was probably more concerned with the potential revolution on the horizon. This meant, however, that 2 long decades passed before official investigators finally headed to the blast site. And even then, permission for the expedition was only granted after Leonid Kulik, a meteorite specialist, lobbied his bosses and persuaded them that the incident was worth looking into. Despite the passage of time, however, the huge area of toppled trees made it seem as if the blast had literally just happened. Yet, if this was the work of a meteor, Kulik could find no sign of a crater. What's more, those living closest to the blast were hesitant to open it to Kulik and apparently believed that the explosion was the work of a vengeful god. The question remained then, could the mineralogist use his scientific expertise to work out what had happened? Well, he was certainly going to try. Indeed, undeterred by the absence of a crater, Kulik put his mind to work. He even speculated that the swampy Siberian surface of the area had absorbed a meteorite and consumed any blown-off debris. Kulik's next theory, though, came approximately a decade later, long after his return. At this time, he thought that it might be possible to find crushed masses of nickeliferous iron, individual pieces of which may have a weight of 100 or 200 metric tons. This, however, would mean digging down some 80 feet. Russian scientists who later visited the blast site concluded, though, that a meteor hadn't broken up here. Indeed, they claimed that it was the work of a comet. They argued that since comets are made of compacted ice, it would have melted after entering the Earth's atmosphere, leaving behind little trace. This explanation, which was backed by an authoritative report, failed to stem the flow of alternative theories, however. Was the Tunguska event really the result of a colliding comet? Or could something more outlandish have been responsible? For example, some reckoned a collision of antimatter and matter was responsible. Others, meanwhile, wondered whether an alien spacecraft, possibly searching for a supply of fresh water, had crash-landed. So in 2013, a team from Ukraine's National Academy of Sciences set to work, determined to get to the bottom of the mystery once and for all. They decided, though, to do what their predecessors hadn't: look at the previously collected samples at a microscopic level. Fascinatingly, the researchers found small quantities of lonsdaleite, a carbon mineral that forms when a structure harboring graphite, namely a meteor, enters our planet's atmosphere. This mineral's makeup isn't dissimilar to that of diamonds. So it goes without saying that lead researcher Viktor Kvasnitskaya concluded that nothing paranormal had occurred at Tunguska. His conclusion, however, is by no means categorical, and there's one thing in particular upon which scientists cannot agree. Because meteor showers occur regularly and often go unnoticed, there's no conclusive evidence that these same samples Kvasnitskaya and company studied were from the 1908 incident. No one can say for sure, then, whether the Tunguska event was the result of a meteor, a comet, or have others suggested an asteroid. However, whatever the explosion was, Kvasnitskaya said mankind will be helpless in the event of something similar happening in the future.
Okay, as I said, it was a good explanation by the mainstream theories out there, and the comet one, and the meteor that, there's no crater, or there's another one actually. Yes, there's the one that UFO exploded. Yes, okay, it is what it is. The one that a meteor exploded out there in the atmosphere, that also don't hold a lot of water. Of course, meteor, they are very small, like the one actually that happened in Russia, by the way, in 2013, and you probably have seen the videos, and it created a blast that, windows shook, and I think a few windows broke and stuff like that. That one was quite small. I think it was like 4 meters or 6 meters. So as it was coming into the atmosphere, it was disintegrating. And at the end, a few rocks, very small in size, which still, if they hit the ground, they create quite an explosion, by the way, even if they are in centimeters in diameter, which is the sheer speed. So something like that, I mean, a big size meteor is not gonna be dissolved by the atmosphere, okay? If it goes beyond that, 10, 20 meters, something big is gonna fall to the ground. It's gonna come and it's gonna create a lot of friction. And yes, that friction creates energy, and it's gonna create a spectacle in the sky that's gonna create a blast. But again, this event was so large, the largest recorded explosion in history of the Earth, that it had to be something else. So yes, at the end, my intuition, the Tesla thing makes a lot of sense, but I just don't believe Tesla would have made a weapon. That's for me just a red flag. The UFO one, as I said many times, I think aliens have been coming to this planet in different ways for so many years that the UFO is really more and more primitive, or at least the ones that will blow up and create something like that. Okay, UFO is such a complicated subject because I think it's more terrestrial than extraterrestrial. Okay, so definitely the comment one doesn't hold any water for me because of the sheer size of comments. It would have to be an unknown, very small comment that there was no evidence about, and again, I find that extremely unlikely. Maybe on that one, if it fits that, they don't want to share it, so people don't get afraid that a comment is going to destroy planet Earth. Yes, that's always a possibility. If we are out there and we're traversing the universe, we have the thing of that. In a way, there's that risk that we're going to get hit by something, okay, and it has happened in the past. However, having said that, I do believe the universe works in harmony, okay? So let's not be afraid of that. I do believe we traverse the universe, and we, all planets and bodies and everything, we kind of respect each other. And yes, there could be some impacts, but not something major that will destroy a planet. That just doesn't work with the laws of the universe, okay? So that's how I feel. Maybe I'm too naive or something like that. Remember, it's just my opinions, just my feelings. So I hope you enjoyed this one. At the end, I don't have an answer for you. Again, if I give you something, it's just my opinion. On this one, it's the kind of thing I haven't made up my mind. Could it be an explosion? Could it be an early test of a nuclear weapon? Well, if it was huge, okay? It was huge because it was much higher in capacity of detonation than the later nuclear weapons of 30, 40 years after. This was in 1908. I'm talking about one Hiroshima and that, way bigger. So that wouldn't make sense. Also, there's this school of thought, I know some of you might believe, that there are no nuclear weapons, no nuclear energy in that. I've been in a nuclear power plant, so I beg to differ on that. But I know there's this thing right now that they're blocking whole concepts. Nuclear energy, the earth is flat and there's no universe out there. And all of these concepts are so limiting. So just be open that there is the possibility that you're wrong, okay? Really, that's one of the best advices I can give you. Be open always to be open that there's a possibility they are, okay? Yes, be obsessed or think that there is no nuclear energy. That's fine. But be open that there's a possibility that there is. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this short episode on the Tunguska event. And if everything's okay, I shall see you back on Monday, July the 17th. As I shared, I'm taking next week off. Please enjoy it. Please enjoy your weekend and your week with family and friends. Enjoy life. Enjoy every moment. I send you all my love. You honor me with your time, and I try to honor you with my best. So I hope you enjoy it and it's good enough for you. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you for making it to this part of the video. This is my favorite part. This is where I suggest to you that you discover yourself. You are not what you have been groomed to believe. You are this incredible being without limits that has eternal life, amazing strength, infinite wisdom, and a big, beautiful heart. All your limits are always self-imposed. Your best version in this reality is inside you. Your only mission on this life is to become a beacon of love and guidance. This version is ready to be discovered today. How do you discover yourself? The discovery process is a personal one. No one can do it for you. Dedicate 5 minutes a day to talk to yourself and the universe. Request to be connected and ask, who am I? Where do I come from? You will start getting signs, breadcrumbs, and signals. You will notice how your notions about those realities start disappearing. No more hierarchies, no more competition, no more complaining, no more depending on others. Discovering yourself equals to breaking your matrix. Your self-imposed limits will fall, and you will be ready to serve humanity and help break this spell and deception on us. But you must be patient to allow others to wake up at their time through their own free will. That will be really soon, you will see, and that will start a new world. As you work towards your best version, you will notice how all emotions don't serve you anymore. Hate, fear, rage, pride, loss, envy, violence, justice, true violence, judgment of others, and other emotions will disappear from your mind and heart. You will understand those emotions serve only the evildoers and are not you. Please try to be understanding of others that don't think or feel like you. Everyone has a process. No one is right or wrong. We're all just different. Don't be concerned about being right, ever. Don't allow pride preventing you from patching things up with family and friends. It is very important you enjoy this life with your loved ones. Put in the work to patch things up and leave it to others to decide. Please relax and enjoy life. When everyone breaks their own matrix, humanity through our community consciousness will break the final spell. The new world will start and everything will gradually fall. Governments, hierarchies, and the medical and financial system will go from scarcity to abundance for all. Thank you very much for watching. Please share this episode. If you have any comments or suggestions, please use the comment section below. For private questions, conversations, and if you would like to appear on the show, please email me at hey@humanitywins.net. Thank you again. Please don't forget to visit our website www.humanitywins.net. By giving me your time, you honor me. Have a very, very, very nice day.